Greetings, YouTube. Pipe and Redbeard. Arg. Got a Calabash Pipe World Meerschaum Bulldog spigot mount. Excellent pipe. Smoking some McBaron HH Burley Flake. Before we get into things, let's show you. They come in. I put the whole pound of it in here, and you can see they're long flakes, and I take one of the long flakes and I just rip it in half and then break it up, and that's how but this is a pretty big bowl on this, and half a flake is plenty. So if you don't want to pack it too tight, any flake, don't pack tight at all. Make sure it's pretty loose. It's compressed. When you add heat, it expands. Okay? All you pipe people should probably know that by now. Anyway, let me put this back in my jar. I got this, I'll show you in a minute. This new tray to put on my desk. It's from Cedar Craft. It's got like where you can use this to, it's like your bowl thing, and it's got a little lip. You can, put your tobacco back in the tin or whatever. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. It keeps my desk a little more tidy. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and some stuff I've tried to do this many times, but there's like an ego thing I don't like, where people feel like their opinion must be thrown in your face, and I thought, man, there's so many voices out there shouting and saying stuff. There's some calm and logical voices out there too. What do I really need to? And I don't think I need to, but just for I guess more for the sake of me getting my opinion out, just helps me. Okay. So that's where I'm at. So let me tell you about these pipes real quick, and then we'll get into other things. I actually got two of these. Okay. What happened was I bought one, it came in, and immediately the glue on the spigot, this came off, the one part that attaches to the stemel, and then this actually came off of the stem. Just fell off. And looked like the glue just didn't hold, and the stem didn't look like it had any glue on it at all. So I emailed them, talked about it for a minute. They sent me another one. Same thing happened. This pulled out of the stemel, this got pulled off of the stem, and it was the same thing. So I emailed them again and said, look, you need to tell whoever is attaching these things that the glue is not working. And they're like, we've never had this kind of problem before using the same glue. So it took a minute because I had to scrape off all the glue residue that was already there. And I didn't have any. They use glass glue, I think is what they use. So I took a knife and scraped off all the glue, sanded it down a little bit, it took a while, cleaned it all up real nice, used Gorilla Glue, and attached everything back on. This one worked out great. Okay. Now it's a little dirty because I've been smoking it a lot, but, it holds fine. I don't have any issues not come apart. Smoke's great. Good to go. This one, on the other hand, let me see. You might be able to see this. Not really. Well, you can see the dark around the stumble. See that? So there's it didn't seal all the way. You know, like it leaks right here a little bit. And on the spigot mounts, there's a little space on the stumble here between where the stem meets the spigot mount here. And so that can gather some condensation and moisture and stuff. And if that's not sealed up, it's going to drip a little bit. And that's what this one's done. So not a big deal. I mean, I'll just use this as like a rotating thing, but you know, I hate that it does this. I can clean it up a little bit, but it's really hard to clean this like tobacco residue off. It's kind of a bear, so it's just gonna color like that probably. It just be as it is. This one on the other end, I guess however I glued it actually was enough that it holds and sealed it up, so it's fine. But that one not so much. No ill will towards Calabash Pipes World, I guess. That's the end of this. I mean, they're carved excellent. The meerschaum is excellent quality. It's block. The mounts actually fit really well together. You know, it doesn't come apart. If you make sure it's tight when you're enjoying it, it stays. So everything is beautiful except for the glue that was on there. So I don't know. I got 2 pipes for the price of 1. It took me a while to fix them. Granted, one of them didn't quite get fixed right. So I'm happy, I guess. That's the end of the story. Would I recommend them? Yes. I don't know. I mean, I would just be aware if I like spigots because I can take it apart and while I'm smoking it, if it gets too wet and do all that. So I just leave you with that. You know, be aware. Now, this burley flake, I don't seem to be able to keep this lit very long in the best of circumstances. Flakes are harder than ribbon tobaccos and stuff anyway, but this stuff particularly doesn't like to stay lit. So, you know, but it's great. It is such a great burley flake. If you like burley, it's really good. A very nice, natural kind of tobacco experience. So, what I was trying to do was talk about all this stuff that's been going on, because I've remained quiet on so many things because I've been enjoying my pipes and cigars and just going about my life and doing things. You know, we kind of self-quarantine here because I work from home. The wife doesn't work. We're out in the country. So when the pandemic and everything, as Officer Tatum on YouTube calls it, the scamdemic was going on, it didn't affect us that much, right? So yeah, but I don't want to get into too much of the specifics about things, because I mean, people are getting lost in certain agendas, okay? And I think when we're talking about health and safety, and more specifically when we're talking about communities and their relationships, I'm gonna hesitate to use the word race, and I'll tell you why. I don't like it. It's something we made up. It's a social construct we made up. The fact is that a black person, a white person, purple skin, green skin, whatever, are the same race. We're all human. We come from different ancestors. I'm a mutt. I have all kinds of stuff in my history. I'm not just a white guy, you know. If you really want to dig into it, I'm like Scandinavian, German, Scottish, English, French, Native American, and some other stuff in there, right? So I'm going to speak to this. From my standpoint, from what world I'm in, the speaking from a biblical perspective, the Bible doesn't talk about race. It talks about different cultures a little bit, different parts of the world, yada yada yada, but it doesn't get to this whole thing of race. It does talk about how you should be open to that we're all children of Adam, that we're all children of Adam. So in that sense of the Bible, there's no difference. Okay, there's none. We should be all one. Okay, why we choose to, and past and present, I'm just saying, we've historically had some issues here, obviously, but the melanin in your skin is just a different shade of the same color. We're all the same color. We're just different shades of it. Really. I mean, come on. So that's kind of where I'm at. And another thing that maybe for you to understand where I come from, I predominantly live in a country atmosphere. It's very rural. Mostly white people, if you want to call them that, from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of social structures and in income levels, all kinds. Okay. And I can I can get along with some of them. I can't. On some of them, I can empathize with some of them. I can't on some of them. And they're people that are considered the same skin tone as me. I grew up predominantly in a white neighborhood and all this kind of stuff. But when I got into college, things started to change quite a bit. Playing jazz, being a musician, and then later on in the whole worship circles, playing gospel music and stuff, I got a lot of exposure to the black people. Okay, love them. I don't care what melanin content is in their skin. There's a lot of times I've been that one lighter skinned dude in the whole place. I've played at some of these churches where, I stand out glaringly. Okay. And, there's been stuff said that you could call insensitive or not. I wouldn't go as far as say a racist, but there's been several times where, things are said and it's joking, and I didn't take any offense to it because it's like we're all different. You got to acknowledge the differences. You do. I don't assume if I walk up to somebody who's got a skin tone similar to mine that their life story is the same as mine. I don't care what skin color they are. That's the truth. I don't know what their life's done. I don't know what they've done. I don't know what they think or how they get, and some of the, and that, that's, I don't know how often that is. Okay. To be really honest, I don't know if I'm like some, weird guy who's done that. I don't think so. I think there's lots of people like me who see that. And I think the majority of people nowadays in 2020 aren't technically racist. Now, what really made me mad was this white guilt, white privilege thing. It's been going on for a while. It really makes me mad. The whole essence of that is racist. I mean, everybody has certain privileges. Everybody does. They're different. They could be different. You know, black people, white people, Latino people, we all have privileges. All of us. We're all privileged in certain ways. But class-based guilt, which is what this is coming from, is just, that's not right. By my alignment with a certain class dictates my obligation? False. There is a majority privilege. I think that's really what we need to probably see. There's a majority privilege. I haven't really unpacked some of that yet, but you know, like if there's more white people in the country, then there's going to be more white people represented in things. There's more of you. I don't think anybody would argue that, right? I mean, but what I get, what I don't want to see or think that's right is when you have somebody not get a job or something because of whatever skin color they have. That obviously that's racist, but you can't always come back to that. Because I know a lot of people, regardless of their skin tone, who are going to be good for certain things and not. We all are. We all have certain abilities and talents and stuff to use. But to say that because of their skin tone, they need help to be successful is where I think that's completely crazy. That belittles that individual or group of people. Like, they're good enough. Like, there's nothing, you know, their skin tone does not dictate that they can't do something, that they need help. I know a lot of very successful people who are all kinds of backgrounds and colors and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, basing accomplishments on your race is silly. I mean, David Webb had that was the thing for a minute. He he was in an interview with a CNN person, and he was talking about his accomplishments, and they said, well, that's because you have white privilege. David Webb's a black guy, but because he listed his accomplishments, suddenly this other person who was black assumed it was because he was white. That's your de facto go-to. The vast majority of police are good. I think there has been some police brutality issues. I don't think you can say there hasn't been. And not just against the black people, not just against Latino people, but all people. I've spoke many times about black churches and white churches and how that is totally not biblical. It's just that is so silly. And again, it goes both ways. I mean, it's hard sometimes to be the only person different than you, or a very small number of you in the crowd of people who are different than you. But that's how you make change happen. You can't expect people to understand you regardless of your skin tone if you're not associating with people who are different than you. That's a problem, right? If you come at it from ignorance, you don't know. That's what the very definition of ignorant means. I mean, you don't know. And all of this crap that's going on right now is just creating more division, more dependence on handouts and government saying that you need it. And I'm not going to say that. Here's the thing. There is racism both ways. I've not got a job because of a quota that had to be met, affirmative action type of stuff. That's happened before to me because I was a white guy. That Reddit CEO who stepped down and said replace him with a black guy or black person, I think is what he said. I don't remember what he said, but that's racist. There was a study about West Indies immigrants, and this is where I'm going with this. Because you can't tell by looking at a black person, if you didn't know anything about these two people, which one was a West Indies immigrant, which one wasn't. And they actually have some communities and stuff that are predominantly West Indian, and so it's a kind of an extensive study, and I got to find it because I was trying to find it the other day and I couldn't reference it. Coleman Hughes is who originally referenced it, which I saw. Okay, so if you want to look for his video, I think it's on YouTube somewhere, but Coleman Hughes. And they vastly have more education. They make more money. They have higher level jobs, all this kind of stuff than like black Americans tend to do. So the whole study was really, is there systematic racism? And that was one thing that pointed out was, if there was, those people couldn't be successful. If the system was designed to keep somebody down because of their skin color, they wouldn't be successful. Draw your conclusions however you wish. If you want to look at that, fine. Not, whatever. But that, I think that tells a lot. I don't have a solution for this except that we all need to reach across to people who are different than us and just be friendly and try to understand each other. That's really the key here. I don't think we need laws and things to do anything. I damn well don't think there's reparations necessary. Again, you're assuming that because I'm a certain way that I've played a part in this. Now, have I been racist in the past? Sure. I think so. I think there's probably a point sometime where I said something that was racist, maybe. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but probably. But at the same token, like I said, I've been called a lot of things, man. I've been to some places, it's all about your mindset. That's really what I'm getting to. If you kind of choose to see the world as, one race, then that's how you're going to approach people. We can't be afraid, though, to ask questions. And we also have to expect people are going to ask us questions. And they may seem really stupid to them, to you. Okay? But we have to. We have to have these conversations. I mean, I don't proclaim to know where you've been, what you've done, what's happened to you or anything. And I can't. You can't. So you can't for me. You ask me a question, we have a discussion, we learn from each other, and all of a sudden now we're sowing this division, and it's now we're actually learning and understanding people. That it's really that it's not hard. It's just you know, I've been in Louisiana a few times, some parts of Chicago that I technically shouldn't have been in, kind of thing. Talked to a lot of people. I mean, we have this whole culture of like offense. It's so silly, man. I mean, I was in Puerto Rico and I don't know what to say, what not to say. It's a completely different world than what I live in. Those people have completely different perspectives in some ways, not all, but you know, so even the language I use, I may think is okay. It might be really offensive. You know, if you go to the Bahamas or whatever, so it's understanding where people are at when you're talking to them. Maybe they don't know. They don't know what you just said is really offensive. And it's okay to say, look, man, that's really offensive. It's, if they don't know, why are you shoving it down their throat? Now, it is common sense these days to know that picking someone for a job with the same qualifications, and you pick one or the other, and you say, well, that dude's black, so I'll pick him. That dude's white, I'll pick him. That's racist. That's what that is. But man, that's all I gotta say, man. It just really bothers me. This whole nonsense of the BLM and this outrage against the police, and some of that is, you know, I get it, but we don't solve that by looting and rioting and, you know, trying to do all this white guilt, white supremacy crap, or white supremacy, yeah, that's crap too, but white privilege stuff. You ain't gonna get there. You're just gonna create more division. I'm not gonna assume that you got somewhere because of your skin tone. You don't assume I got somewhere because of my skin tone. I recognize I have privilege. You recognize you have privilege somewhere or the other, and we'll have a conversation. Anybody ask me, like that poor woman, to recognize their guilt, you get smacked in the face. Nobody's gonna do that. I'm a big guy. I look a little mean when I'm walking around, so probably not. Let's hope, huh? And look, I don't care what your opinion is of this. Let me be honest with you. I'm not going to get into some comment war back and forth about if unconscious bias is true, if there's if what you think about systematic racism, if you believe in reparations, or if you're the other way around, where you're like, there's, you know, you're some racist white dude. I don't really care. I'm not going to get in a comment war with you, by the way. So I'm not. I know in my community, I'm respected. I have honor. I try to have as much integrity as possible. I welcome anyone in my home, no matter what flippin' skin color they are or what their heritage is. We can have a conversation. That's what you need. That's what you should do. folks, I just encourage you, look past the mainstream media, look at some things, talk to people, make your own mind up. You know, I don't presume to be some all-knowing dude, some guru of community relations, but I certainly don't want a divisive atmosphere. And it's been that way. This whole like right-left thing has gotten just out of hand. It's crazy. And that's kind of what's pushed this. It's an election year. That's what's going to happen. I mean, folks, you got to understand that, man. I mean, this pandemic thing that was not anything like they said it was. I'm not saying it wasn't real. That's not what I'm saying. Just saying it's not anything like I thought it was. That people shut down and everything like that. That's crazy. This whole BLM thing. No, here's what's irritating. No one that I've ever seen online or anywhere has said that the George Floyd thing wasn't bad. Like that dude did wrong. I don't care what George Floyd did before that. I mean, whether he was the salt of the earth or not, whatever. That situation was terrible. No one has said anything contrary to that, right? And they arrested everybody. So look, no one, and then that sparks, when everybody's agreeing, then that sparks this whole thing. There's paid provocateurs, people. There's reasons that people are bussed in and they're being paid to be there. There's an agenda, and it's not a good one. It's not good for the black community, for the white community, for the American community. It's not good. Period. Stop. Don't be a sheep. Just don't. Have a mind of your own. Look to your own community. If you find that community needs some change, you make the change. You start. If you have some introspection and you're like, man, I may not look at a white guy the right way, maybe that, whatever, fine, fix it. Black dude, oh man, I shouldn't have said that to that black guy. Well, then don't. Fix it. We're all children of Adam. Race is nowhere in the Bible. We made it up. It's a social construct. That's what's important. Now, to all you people, I don't care where you came from. Thank you for watching. And if I'm an extreme minority of this way of thinking, God help us all. So look, I've been praying for the country. I've been praying for unity. And just looking at scripture, and I'm just reading about, hey, we're all one people. I'm just going to keep pushing on my church to, try to encourage other cultures to come to the church, right? I mean, and we've been making some really good progress, to be really, rah moment here. It was really pale for a while, and it's coming around, and it's pretty cool. I really like it. I enjoy having other people from other perspectives or backgrounds or whatever contribute, and it's because it's a different perspective that you get to hear and learn from. That's exciting. That's freaking cool. So we're making strides, and I talk to my. It seems like it was before this idiotic COVID stuff. It was like every other week. I was like, man, what can we do to, we got to make strides to not be this. That's not biblical. And we keep making them, and they keep making some change, and it's good. It's very good. So look, folks, I love y'all. Look across the aisle, whether it's political or not, whether it's skin tone or not, whether it's heritage or not. Have a conversation. Don't be offended if something ignorant comes your way. There's a question. That's what it is. They still know. And if we all have honest, transparent conversations about each other and our past and what we experience, what we don't, we can learn from that, and we can all come together as one race, one flipping people, under God, for liberty and justice for all. Pipe and Redbeard. Later.